Welcome back to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into something that's reshaping how enterprises actually deploy AI. We're talking about a major pivot happening right now in Amsterdam, and honestly, across Europe. The shift from autonomous agents to practical AI workflows. Sam, this feels like we're getting a reality check on AI hype, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it's not just hype deflation, it's smart business. What we're seeing in Amsterdam's enterprise sector is executives finally asking the right question. Does this AI system actually make money and stay compliant? Autonomous agents looked sexy on paper, but when you put them in production with real financial data and real customers, things get messy fast.
Right. So let's ground this. What does the data actually show? You mentioned some stats earlier, like how badly did autonomous agents underperform?
The numbers are stark. A 2025 Deloitte report found that 58% of Dutch companies deploying autonomous agents without structured guardrails hit serious problems. Uncontrolled costs, inconsistent outputs, compliance violations. In Amsterdam's financial services sector especially, where you've got major players like ING and ABN Amro, autonomous systems were making unauthorized decisions, accessing restricted data, contradicting brand guidelines. That's a nightmare for a bank.
That's genuinely alarming. And then you layer in the EU AI Act on top of that, right? High-risk systems, which includes customer service automation and financial decision-making, these need documented, explainable decisions with human oversight. An autonomous agent that just does whatever it wants isn't going to fly regulatorily.
Exactly. The regulation demands transparency. If a regulator asks, "Why did your AI approve this loan?" or "Why did it access that customer record?" autonomous agents can't give you a clear audit trail. Workflows can. That's the fundamental difference. Workflows have decision trees, checkpoints, documentation. They're auditable.
So what we're really talking about is structured AI workflows. And you mentioned AI lead architecture. That's the framework that makes these work well, right?
Correct. AI-led architecture is about designing workflows that are intelligent without being autonomous. You're mapping business processes to AI-enabled steps, defining where humans need to review decisions, building in escalation triggers when confidence drops, and creating audit trails for compliance. It's the difference between a rigid automation rule and an adaptive AI-powered process.
Okay, let me paint a picture to make this concrete. Autonomous agent handles a customer complaint. Customer contacts, agent decides to refund, escalate, gather data, takes action, maybe tells the customer nothing. What's wrong with that?
Multiple things. 1. No human oversight of high-stakes decisions. 2. No documentation trail if something goes wrong. 3. The agent might make inconsistent decisions based on its training. One customer gets a refund, another identical situation gets denied. With a workflow, you route the complaint through the right process. The AI analyzes sentiment and intent, routes to the appropriate queue, performs steps with defined decision gates, and escalates when confidence drops. Every action is logged.
And that matters for reputation and compliance, but also for ROI, right? Because I saw in the research that workflow-based systems report 34% higher success rates in production.
That's McKinsey's 2025 data, and it's crucial. Higher success rates means fewer failures, lower operational costs, and better customer outcomes. Workflows are predictable. You can measure them, improve them, and explain them. Autonomous agents are black boxes. They might be clever, but they're expensive to debug, and they create legal liability.
So, if I'm listening to this and I work at a mid-sized enterprise, what's the practical takeaway here? Should I abandon agent-based thinking entirely?
Not entirely. It's about scope and constraints. Agentic capabilities can sit within workflows. Think of it as agentic RAG 2.0. You're using intelligent retrieval and generation, but inside defined workflows with human checkpoints. That gives you the adaptability of agents with the reliability and compliance of workflows. You get ROI and you sleep at night.
That's a nuanced position. So you're not saying agents are dead, you're saying they need guardrails.
Precisely. Agents with boundaries become workflows, and that's where enterprise value actually lives. Amsterdam's companies have figured this out. They stopped chasing the autonomy narrative and started building systems that deliver measurable impact. That's the 2026 shift we're talking about.
And compliance-wise, for our European listeners especially, this matters enormously. The EU AI Act isn't going away, it's getting stricter. A workflow-based system is inherently more defensible under regulation than an autonomous agent.
Absolutely. When you design with compliance in mind from day one, you're not retrofitting later. You're building audit trails into the architecture. You're documenting decision logic. You're creating human oversight at the right moments. That's not a burden. It's your competitive advantage.
So let's zoom out. What does this mean for how enterprises should approach AI in 2026? Is this a broader trend beyond just Amsterdam?
Stanford's AI Index 2026 shows that 67% of European companies now prioritize workflow stability over agent autonomy for customer-facing operations. This isn't Amsterdam-specific, it's continent-wide. Companies are maturing. They're moving from experimental AI to production AI, and production AI demands reliability, explainability, and compliance. That's a workflow conversation.
So the message is, sophistication without structure is expensive, structure without intelligence is limiting, but structure with intelligent workflows, that's the sweet spot.
That's exactly it. And the companies winning right now are the ones who figured that out early. They're not waiting for regulation to force the change. They're building strategically now.
Sam, if someone wants to dig deeper into how to actually implement this, how to design AI lead architecture, what's next?
Head over to etherlink.ai and find the full article. We dive into concrete implementation frameworks, case studies from Amsterdam's financial sector, and a breakdown of how to audit your current AI systems to see if they need restructuring. It's practical, not theoretical.
That's great. So folks, AI workflows versus autonomous agents. Amsterdam's showing us that pragmatism beats hype, structure beats chaos, and compliance isn't a constraint, it's a feature. Thanks for joining us on EtherLink AI Insights. We'll be back next week with more on how AI is actually transforming enterprise operations. Until then, catch the full article at etherlink.ai.